We have just experienced, or we just come with the experiences associated and the consequences of Hurricane Elsa, where the use of tarpaulin was extensively used in some cases to help reduce or prevent the water damage associated with those roofs that were compromised.
All right, go ahead.
The tools that we're going to need for the application of this type roof is we have a saw, we have a hammer, we have the strips of wood that is going to fix the tarpaulin to the structure, we have the tarpaulin, and we have the nails. We decided to have it at this level so it is more convenient. But it's quite obvious that in the real world, you might have to have some level of ladder or something to stand on. So at least this will make it a little bit more convenient. This is what we consider to be the hip roof. The hip roof, you would appreciate that with the passage of a weather system, a wind, you may get galvanized sheeting, shingles being displaced. It is very important to recognize that you must have some level of support to support the tarpaulin. In this application, what we have done is to use the pallets to form the sides of this house so that we can apply the sheeting. In this demonstration, we will show you a roof that has no structure and what you need to do to reinforce and to support the structure. All houses might not be like this. You have your galvanized protruding sometimes 3 or 4 inches. It is very important that if you put it across the galvanized, you can understand that the galvanized will cut the material over a period of time. For that application, which obviously we didn't have any galvanized now, so to address that first, you are suggested to put some the same, if you have a wooden structure. Now in the field, sometimes the hardware stores are not open, so we have to improvise. I found in the last application the river tamarind wood. We installed a tarpaulin here in Jackson, and we went by that. There's a place that sells alcohol, and we got some boxes and put the boxes to curb the galvanized so that when you put the tarpaulin, the tarpaulin is not exposed to the rough edges, because in many cases those edges they're not new galvanized, they're jagged, and they would rupture the galvanized. Another aspect that you will see coming out clearly is that the tarpaulin must have a slope. If you put it on a flat roof and where the water cannot run off, the water will concentrate on the tarpaulin, and that would add further potential damage to the residents and offer very little protection to the contents of the home. So in this case, you have seen with the hip roof, this is the more challenging of the roof. So if you come a little closer, because of the angles, you see we started here and the tarpaulin is level, relatively straight. But as you know, as you go around, and by the time you get back around the other side, you can walk around and you will see You see, we started on that end and the wording was level. You see, by the time we get out here, it is at a slant. And therefore, by the time you get out this side, there's a flap. Okay? Now this flap, everyone has seen it? This flap, it is a fold that you will put for this type of roof. Now if you notice, if I push my hand here, it can't go any further. So in case if any water came here, it could only reach as far as there because this is already folded. But to make sure now you don't get the wind damaging this, you will be advised to put a strip or something like that and secure it. And this is the only application for the hip roof that you will have this to do. So once you put it along there and you secure it, you shouldn't get any leakage. Now, as DOs, the emphasis has to be on safely doing whatever you are purporting to do. Always recognize that your safety is paramount. Okay? So this application is a little bit going to be easier, but maybe and hopefully that we don't have to be in the real world because we are just 2 months into the hurricane season and it's very likely. So you want to make sure before you get to this stage, whenever you're going out to apply a tarpaulin, look around the house, look at what are the hazards, what are the dangers, what are the challenges that can stop you from doing what you have to do. Always stop, look and see what has to be done, and do what? Create a plan, how you can effectively do it, what you require to install the tarpaulin, and then you put that plan into action. The question is if you can use duct tape. Yes, but if you're going to apply duct tape here, you may want to put some strips in this direction first. That will help take some distress off of the wind, and then you put your strip down, which will stop the air or the wind from encroaching here. When you are doing your initial assessment, when you are looking for the size tarpaulin, you will want to measure, have some indication as the measurement of the roof so that you have at least excess material. You can always roll the excess material, but if it's too short, you have nothing to roll. Okay? Now how it is applied. So if they have windows, we did a covering, and unfortunately because there was no faceboard and there was nothing to secure it in the up by the fascia board where the fascia board would have been, because the fascia board went with the wind, we had rolled it and we came down a foot or two below on the wall. The way how the tarpaulin is applied, we can do it the incorrect way first on the outside. This is the incorrect way, which we do not want you to do, but we can show you. If you do that, what's going to happen? Water will come down here and settle in here. Always make sure that once you have the adequate slope, that the water can run completely off the building. Okay? Anytime you are applying the tarpaulin, because in the past a lot of people have installed roofs using drive screws. Drive screws, everybody know what I mean? The galvanized nail. You will need to pound each of those galvanized nails down. Because if you put the tarpaulin with one of those galvanized nails sticking up in the air, what's going to happen? It has the potential to rupture the material. So the correct way, and remember, if you have at least 2 persons, go to the end. Now the strip of wood should not protrude on either end. There's always to come back an inch or 2 on the inside, because you can then fold it around. Okay? If the wood is sticking out like that, something can get under there. Okay? So let me also make the minimum distance from the eave of the house should be at least a foot. The reason for that, you want to make sure you have enough material that you can fold, right? And we fold together. One more. We fold together. You put your hand here, you pull it down, you apply your nail.